right, yesterday the FBI released crime statistics. This was from 2020, and what they showed in these statistics was that murder rose nearly 30% nationwide last year, the biggest one-year increase on record since they have kept these statistics. What's behind it? Well, joining me now to discuss this is FRC Senior Fellow for Human Rights and Constitutional Governance and the former mayor of the Queen City, Cincinnati. Ken Blackwell, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tony, good to be with you.
All right, so there's a lot of explanations out there. Oh, it was COVID. It was people not being able to work. It was the shutdowns. It was increase of gun sales. So what's really behind this in the year of the defund police?
Well, you nailed it. It's an attitude by many on the left and far too many in the middle, where we've become lax around the responsibility of our various levels of government to provide something that's very basic, and that is personal safety. You know, the reality is we know that capital is a coward and that capital seeks the path of least resistance, the greatest opportunity. And so when you talk about defunding the police, when you abandon your citizens, you know, in what has become not fields of dreams, but killing fields, what you get is a flight of capital. You get a flight of jobs. You see these cities becoming poorer and less safe, and a lot of it can be traced back to open borders.
Yeah.
You know, every town now under Joe Biden, under this left-leaning administration, is a border town.
Yeah.
Every town.
Well, and I've seen it. I've traveled. In fact, this summer, August, I hit like 15 states traveling on the road, and saw a lot of these encampments that were popping up, where people in these sanctuary cities and some not sanctuary cities, but people afraid to do anything about it. So you had these encampments everywhere. So look at this is on the heels of the George Floyd killing and the rioting that took place in the cities, the burning, the looting, and then, of course, the attacking of police, the calls to defund police. In fact, many cities did defund the police. And, you know, as a former police officer, I still have interaction with law enforcement officers, and a lot of them were looking for the exit. They were saying, look, the administrations don't have my back. It's risky out here. It's dangerous. The public's turned against us. So they backed off on their aggressive policing. Should we be surprised that we've seen this 30% increase in murders?
No, we really shouldn't. There are a couple of things. One, the lack of community-based policing, because the police are under attack. Secondly, we've become a culture, we are at risk of becoming a culture where life is considered just as like a candy wrapper, that you can just crush it and throw it away. And that's why we've been on the front lines in the pro-life movement, saying that, you know, human dignity and life is important, and we must protect it, you know, in the womb. And when you see these forces on the left that are pushing for abortion on demand, challenging at every move those efforts to reduce abortion, culture picks up. Life becomes less important, and so folks in desperation, folks who have no sense of value of life, will take life.
Yeah, I think that you bring up a really good point, where you have this convergence of this devaluing of human life that really we haven't seen the full impact of, although we've steadily seen crime and murder go up in the country. But we've had a police presence to keep it in check. But then in this last year and a half, with this move, or 2 years, to defund the police and this anti-police movement where police have either retired, backed off departments, or losing people, you no longer have that opposing force or barrier to keep that anti-life element in check. And I would also suggest that what we see happening in cities now, mandating law enforcement officers to receive this vaccination. We just saw there's a report from the Union of the State Police in Massachusetts saying that dozens are going to resign there rather than get the vaccine. I mean, we could see worse numbers last year in this next year because they're already continuing to rise in 2021.
Right, and you're going to see the same sort of resistance to this heavy-handed government mandate among health workers, particularly at the nursing level. And so, at a time when we're seeing a tick up in cases, we in fact are seeing a thinning out of the labor force on the front lines in our hospitals and on our streets.
Will the administration recognize that and do a course correction?
I doubt it. Look, Tony, people think it's sometimes overreach, but Biden is a captive. He's not leading this. He's a hand puppet of the leftists that are surrounding, and as a consequence of their efforts to move us more and more towards, a statist form of government where you have these authoritarian and totalitarian practices, you're going to see more and more people saying, I feel more concerned about my liberty, my freedom, than I do about that job that you want me to do against my will. This is a crisis. This is a serious crisis, and the question is, will Biden wake up? Will the people around him wake up and understand that we're on a course of a crashing course?
How significant is this moment in American history when it comes to those fundamental freedoms?
I think we're at a turning point. In 245 years, this is one of those points where the definition of American freedom and American exceptionalism is on the table and at risk of being lost. Reagan used to always say that our freedom was just a generation away. It is upon us now. Now is the time to speak up, stand up, and pray up, and fight up.
Absolutely. Ken Blackwell, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Tony, good to be with you.
All right, Ken Blackwell.